In parallel, the government will take a series of measures to catalyse new investment.
I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests.
It's Throne Speech Day. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got Justin Trudeau stealing the spotlight for the wrong reason. As you'll see here, we're not really surprised Captain Schmuck did this. We have King Charles giving his speech from the throne, which is ridiculous, and I'll explain why. We also have other news here of Donald Trump now cracking down on Canadian timber. Let's jump into this. Starting this one off, we got Vesper posting this. Apparently, Angus Reid polled Canadians on what they think about the King's speech. 83% said whatever. So we're seeing that here, across the board. Here's all the provinces. Alberta is actually Saskatchewan, 89%, the highest of indifferent or don't care about the King's speech. This is exactly my opinion this entire time. I'm surprised because I saw a poll on X that showed it a lot higher amount of people cared. Personally, I couldn't give a crap about the King's speech, and it's all a ridiculous display. That's all it is. Got this one coming from Blacklock's reporter showing research at the Bank of Canada shows Fed decision to let in 1 million foreign students wound up replacing Canadian workers. No kidding, it did. And lowering wages. They did this on purpose. They did this because the Liberals are connected to big companies. Those companies wanted cheap workers and they took advantage. It's disgusting. We should allow this kind of work when we need it, like picking fruit in the summertime. They often bring in people. I hear stories of people coming up from Mexico. They pick fruit for a couple months, then they go back home. But replacing all the jobs that Canada's youth would do with foreign workers to drive down those wages to get cheap labor is not cool. There's nothing Canadian about that, and that's what the Liberals have done. Moving on here, we've got King Charles' speech. We're not going through the whole speech, but I just want to point out a couple key moments here. This one here, listen to the commentary very closely.
What stood out for you? Because clearly there were comments of sovereignty, comments of an economic plan. What stood out for you in that speech?
Well, this is one of the rare times that a prime minister gets to put words in the mouth of a monarch.
One of the rare times a prime minister gets to put words in the mouth of a monarch. Just wait.
And so every word is going to be weighed. Every syllable is going to be weighed. And the syllables and words I was looking for were referring to Donald Trump's designs on Canada. All Canadians can give themselves far more than any foreign power or any continent can ever take away. That, I thought, was the clearest shot. The unmistakable message to Mr. Trump, scripted by the Prime Minister's office, which in essence said you...
Scripted by the Prime Minister's office. There it is. This entire speech was scripted by Mark Carney's office.
You can hobble our economy, but you cannot humble our country.
Why is he even giving a speech if he's not the one writing it? What's the point? This whole situation is absurd. It's costing us a ton of money they could go help people sleeping in tents with. Instead, they bring in the king to read a speech that he didn't write.
Indigenous peoples to identify and catalyse projects of national significance.
Catalyze. Once I heard this, I'm like, wait a second, he didn't write this speech. Because we all know most people don't use the word catalyze basically ever. It's a chemistry word.
In parallel, the government will take a series of measures to catalyse new investment, to create better jobs and higher incomes for Canadians.
Okay, so he said catalyze twice. Moving on here.
A confident Canada, which has welcomed new Canadians, including from some of the most tragic global conflict zones, can seize this opportunity by recognising that all Canadians can give themselves far more than any foreign power on any continent can ever take away.
Who do you think he or the Liberal government are talking about here? Because since they wrote the script for him, are they talking about the people that protest in our streets all the time?
This mission-driven organisation will act to accelerate the development of new affordable housing. It will invest in the growth of the prefabricated and modular housing industry. And it will...
Come on! Carney just come out with it. Just announced Brookfield's Modular Group will be building all these Canadian houses. They're going to get all these big, juicy, lucrative contracts. And Carney stock options are going to go through the roof. We've got Mark Carney, who used to be vice chair, then chair of Brookfield Asset Management. Scrolling down here to Modular Group. Brookfield unit signs $5 billion deal to TRD-backed Modular Private Equity Insights. They agreed to acquire Modular Group, the European designer for modular workspaces backed by buyout, etc. So Brookfield owns this modular housing company. This is actually part of Brookfield Infrastructure Partners. It's all Brookfield. Going over to this one here, here's Mark Carney's stock options. So if you haven't seen this on the channel yet, this is the SEC. This is right from the government's website, the American government's website, Brookfield. And scrolling down, if we search for Mark Carney, there he is. You can see his name highlighted in orange on the left. He's got two sets of stocks here. He's got 209,000 shares in Brookfield at strike price of $35 and 200,000 shares at strike price of $40. As of December 31st, 2024, they are worth $3.9 million and $2.8 million for a total of $6.8 million. And look whose stock price has gone from $64 as of the election time. As soon as Carney won, look, it's $80 now. Mark Carney's already getting rich off of this.
Generating uncertainties across the continents with regards to peace and stability, economics and climate change, your communities have the skills and determination to bring a wealth of solutions.
So even though they got the king reading this, as I showed in the previous video, he was on the Corporate Knights channel talking about net zero and climate, this, that, and the other. So he is one of them. They just had to throw climate change in this speech just once. And here's the final sentence of his speech.
I wish to express to you and to the people of Canada my heartfelt gratitude, and that of my wife, for the warmth of the welcome which we have received.
And reminds us the true north is indeed strong and free.
Someone forgot to turn on the applause light. Guys, this doesn't do anything with the Trump tariffs. Like, you got to go negotiate with the guy. He's literally rolling out his plan to squash us on the forestry industry today. I'll get to that in a minute. But moving ahead, though, Justin Trudeau stole the show here for the wrong reason. So first off, here's Captain Schmuck meeting with the king. Look how haggard he looks. He looks like he just rolled out of bed. Hey, king. So you also have this moment here of Trudeau and Harper speaking. What do you think they're talking about?
Former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, his mother Margaret Trudeau, Mila Mulrooney, just over to the right, and right beside former Prime Minister Trudeau, former Prime Minister Harper, also there, former Prime Minister Kim Campbell, and also former Governors General. So quite the gathering in the Red Chamber. As
I bet Trudeau saying, have you seen my shoes? Reason why? Justin Trudeau wore these shoes. Classy? I don't think so. So this is blowing up everywhere now. He's goofy shoes just to show this is Justin Trudeau wearing these shoes. First off, this looks awful. This doesn't match this suit whatsoever. Not to mention, wouldn't he wear a fancy pair of shoes if he's going to go meet the king? Throne speech. First time in decades this has happened. Justin Trudeau puts on these shoes. This Trudeau, just childish Captain Schmuck. This is what you'd expect from the guy. It's funny seeing the left trying to defend him. You can't defend this. He showed up looking like a goof. I'm sorry, but didn't you liberals just cheer on Carney for wanting everyone to wear business attire, but now you're all for this? Mark Carney the other day was saying that everyone has to come to Parliament in business attire. They have to be more formal. Yeah, Justin Trudeau shows up with his fresh kicks, but Justin Trudeau's not in government anymore, so it doesn't matter what he wears. That's hilarious. This guy was prime minister just a couple months ago. Obviously, this reflects badly on the Liberal Party. Literally expect no less from that clown. It's funny, someone looked them up. So they're called Adidas Gazelle Bold Sneakers, $471. This lady saying $94. All right, so I found the shoes. They're $150 Canadian, so nothing special. Regardless, he looks ridiculous. Next up, we've got Nigel Farage from the UK Reform Party saying he's going to scrap net zero, all of the madness Mark Carney implemented in the UK during his time there.
If we win the next election, we will scrap net zero, something that is costing the Exchequer an extraordinary 40 billion plus pounds every year. There will be no more asylum hotels or houses of multiple occupancy. People who come here illegally across the channel or on the back of lorries will not be allowed to stay. We will scrap the DEI agenda, which is costing the taxpayer up to £7 billion a year throughout the public sector.
Wow. Boy, that would be good for the UK, wouldn't it? Good job. Will more countries follow up? Nigel's bold promises sure spark strong reactions everywhere. Next up, we got Donald Trump going after Canadian lumber. What will Mark Carney do? Will he put his elbows up? Or are we just calling the king for another throne speech? That'll do the job, right?
Tremendous tariff on lumber and things as such. And yet we don't need their lumber. We have more lumber than they do. We don't need Canada's lumber. So what I'm doing is I'll be signing an executive order freeing up our forests so that we're allowed to take down trees and make a lot of money and then reharvest trees. Also, we're cutting fire divides. A fire divide is a 50-yard to 70-yard swath where the trees can't, it's long enough so trees don't burn forever until you can get them out. And those trees can be sold and made a lot of money with. So, but we'll be doing that. We don't need trees from Canada. We don't need cars from Canada. We don't need energy from Canada. We don't need anything from Canada. So when we can.
I mean, let's get real. That's not true. They didn't buy our energy at a discount. They'd be in a bad position right now. This is all a negotiating tactic. He knows full well that they need all of our stuff. They would be struggling in many sectors. They've integrated into our economy just as much as we have into theirs.
Can be self-sustaining, which is in most things. Look, we have more oil and gas than anybody. Our forests are massive, massive forests. We're just not allowed to use them because of the environmental lunatics that stopped us. So I'm going to be freeing that up very shortly so that we don't have to go to other countries to buy lumber. Why should we be buying lumber from other countries, paying tariffs, paying big prices, extraordinary prices, and we have lumber. We have the best lumber. Go ahead.
The best lumber. Well, there's a negotiating point. How about we open this up? Free trade. Get rid of the whole stupid supply management we have here in Canada. Oh, they also mentioned that during the throne speech.
Agricultural producers. And it will protect supply management.
So they had to throw that in this throne speech. Doesn't seem like Mark Carney is going to be using that as a bargaining chip, if he ever makes a deal. Next up, it's now been confirmed that Canada will be joining Rearm Europe. That's right, we're going to be helping to bolster the security over there, even though America wants us to increase our defense spending here.
Europe is ready to assume its responsibilities. Rearm Europe could mobilize close to 800 billion euros of defense expenditures for a safe and resilient Europe. We will, of course, continue working closely with our partners in NATO. This is a moment for Europe, and we are ready to step up.
So now that you heard that from the European Union, jumping back to the throne speech.
The government will protect Canada's sovereignty by rebuilding, rearming, and reinvesting in the Canadian Armed Forces. It will boost Canada's defense industry by joining Rearm Europe to invest in transatlantic security.
Is this elbows up? Is this what this is?
With Canada's European partners.
This is absurd. In other news, we've got Tommy Robinson has been released from prison. On his official documents, it said he's being released because of a change of attitude. So here he is coming out with all the mail that was sent to him while he was in prison. He's right here. If you're not familiar who Tommy Robinson is, he's been speaking out for free speech in the UK, and they threw him in jail because they didn't like him speaking out and using his free speech. So getting that haircut. We've got Brian Lilly posting this one. U2 frontman Bono appeared on the morning show on Global to praise Canadians electing Mark Carney instead of Pierre Poilievre. He says, last time I recall hearing Bono comment on Canadian politics, it was him being upset with Paul Martin after earlier endorsing him to be PM.
So happy to be speaking to you, especially Canadians at this time in your political life, coming together, showing the world how to do it. It's I was always a fan of your mosaic, your culture, your what's the word I would say? Your kind of reason, and but never more so than now. I'm grateful, and the whole world is in awe of what you've done, and thank you for getting together, putting all your politics aside, and not electing a populist, but actually a competence turns out to be the rarest thing on the planet these days.
What is this buffoon even saying? Competence? The Liberal government has put us in this position. This absolute bumbling buffoon has the audacity to say such things. Bono doesn't have a clue what's going on in our country. Why do they bring on this nimwit to even comment on this? He talks about putting politics aside and then he brings in the politics.
A numerate, thoughtful, intelligent leadership. So
Tell that to the people sleeping in tents. Disgraceful man. Loser. Bono's an absolute loser. Multi-millionaire musician with no ties to Canada, heartily endorsing Goldman Sachs banker. These cancerous global celebrities have no idea how ridiculous they look, pontificating on about politics in countries they know nothing about. Well, that's well said. Bono should mind his own business and focus on the mess that is Ireland. Looking in these comments here, Bono's just getting destroyed. Next up, we have this one from Rebel News. It's 10 cities, homeless encampments in Quebec. We've got Alexandra Lavoir in Montreal showing us the state of Canada.
Summer is not even started yet, and we are seeing already way more tents here in Montreal. There is more and more homeless people in need. And this phenomenon is not just here in Montreal, it's across the country. And I'm expecting we will see way more tents and way more homeless people this summer.
I noticed today I went for a run and there was a new tent on the main running path. There's a guy in his tent screaming at the ground. There's some serious problems in our country that need to be fixed. Our money does not need to be sent over to Ukraine or anywhere else. I mean, look at all this trash. It's just disgusting. We're seeing this everywhere now. Just tents everywhere. This is not how Canadians should be living. The ones where you see a lot of personal belongings, these are people who just couldn't afford the rent anymore. I mean, look at these are people move their houses out into the woods, into the grass. It's just sad. You know, you have living conditions like this. You can't even trust that your stuff will be there if you go out to work and come back. Someone can easily just come with a little box cutter, open up your tent, steal everything. Like, this is not a way for Canadians to live. Nobody's coming to help. Yeah, that's the truth of it, isn't it? But we need to help build Ukraine. Imagine what that money could do for Canada. No kidding. Liberals plan to destroy Canada and never need another election.